Next question. Lady in the middle here.
Hi, I'm Emma from Entertainment News. Question for Chris. What was it like to work with Jessica? And did you give her any tips on her accent as well?
No, I didn't. She was fantastic. The first time, she was kind of at the top of the list of who we wanted to play the role of Sarah. And I saw her at the Golden Globes, I think, and I said, "Did you get the script?" And she said, "Yeah, I don't care. Just do I get to kick ass?" And we said, "We'll make sure." And she does. She kicks my ass a bit in the film too. But it was fascinating watching all the girls, different styles, and you know, all of them an absolute force to be reckoned with, and it's good fun.
Next question. Lady over there.
Hi, I'm Nordisa from Mary Claire. My question's for Emily. This is your first time playing like an overt villain role, and so what attracted you to that role, and which role do you prefer playing, a hero or a villain?
I'm going to be interested to hear this.
I don't have a preference, Rob.
She doesn't have a preference.
What attracted me to it? I think I hadn't played this type of all-out villain, but I think a villain with a sort of empathetic backstory was really interesting, that you're not just presented with this rampaging lunatic in a film and just told to accept her. You're given the reason why she becomes that way, and that was really engaging for me. And really, nothing against Chris Hemsworth whatsoever, but I was very attracted to the fact that there were 3 very empowered female roles in a film, which is quite rare. Not only to have 3 women in a film, but also, just to have such kind of powerhouse roles, that were complicated and different, and Alex's part and Sheridan Smith's part were also just really layered and really well written. There's just so many girls in this film that was really enticing, I think, for all of us, and so, yeah, that dynamic was interesting. And
was that a dynamic you felt on set? Did it feel different having so many strong women on?
Did it feel different for you, Chris?
It's like having 3 sisters. Yeah, it just beat the hell out of me. I could deal with brothers. Sisters were tough.
A lot of estrogen.
Yeah.
A lot of, sometimes you'd walk into the makeup truck and there'd be a haze of estrogen. I'd have to clean my glasses 3 or 4 times.
I think I remember Jessica Chastain and I comparing something about like a facial cream that we used, and Rob comes up and he goes, "Dear diary, scintillating conversation from Emily and Jessica."
I don't remember
You were
that.
very
Really?
rude.
Was I?
Yes.
I have no memory of that, but there we are.
did.
There we are.
Next question for our audience. Do you have one? Here, go for it. Don't be so shy. It's fine. You can put your hand up. There's a microphone right there.
I found, I found Charlize Theron's character like so spooky in the films.
She is.
When she's acting, is it that intense kind of on set, or do you have a bit of a laugh?
I remember, I don't think Jessica had met Charlize, neither had you.
No.
And you're both like, "What's she like?" She tough as she is. But she's fantastic. I mean, she swears more than anyone I've ever met. And is, powerful on and off the screen, and, a lot of fun.
She's a lot of fun. But she is like, when you're in a scene with her, it's like, it is really, she has a 1,000-mile stare. Like, when she locks in on you, you're like, oh my God. But she's really exciting to work with, because she is really powerful, and she's really uninhibited, and I loved doing scenes with her. And the best part is she doesn't take any of it seriously, and so as soon as the cameras would cut, she'd be like, "And then he basically turned to me." And so we'd just be carrying on with a story we were talking about before the scene. So she can kind of shut it on and off.
Alex, what was it like for you being on the set of this particular production, in terms of, you've been on quite a few film sets already, but in terms of the scale of this one?
Yeah, this was on a whole nother level. In terms, because I come mostly from TV, I've done a few films, but this, like, just walking on and everyone's on the top of their game, costume designers and stunt, everyone is, and it was just a learning process. So I've never done any green screen or anything like that before. So I was just learning on the job and hoping I was doing all right.
I think you did all right, sure. Talking of costumes, Emily, amazing, but were they as uncomfortable as they look? They're so sharp and kind of,
Some of them were. Colleen Atwood's the costume designer, and she is amazing, and her attention to detail and the creativity of what she kind of infuses into the costumes is really remarkable, and she cares deeply. She's there every day, and that's quite rare for a costume designer to just be on set all the time. And but she does have this thing where, I have this massive silver cloak made of braided silver leather, and when I see 4 grown men wrestling it onto set, it's when you're like, oh, that is definitely going to be heavy. And so I would put it on, and I said to Colleen, I went, oh God, it's really heavy, Colleen. And she goes, I know. And she looked at me as if like, it's about as heavy as my sack of Oscars. So just wear it, basically. But it really is, her work is just so exquisite. So I think we all felt like you should just wear it.
But the elegance you bring with it as well, even though it weighs tons, the way you kind of gracefully...
It was weird dragging that thing behind me, though. It was like... it was like dragging a man behind me.
Any more questions from our audience? Have any of our crew's got questions at the back, you guys? Don't want to miss you out? No, great. I can keep asking away then. I want to ask you two over there, please, Mr. Brydon and Mr. Frost. I think there's scope for a spin-off for you two. Or you four.
Dwarves in Manhattan.
Your
Okay,
knees
what?
couldn't take it. It's a walking city.
Dwarves in Peckham.
That was our dream, that the Dwarves
Yeah.
somehow got taken to modern day New York. and their film
When 4
starts there.
dwarves find themselves in Midtown Manhattan, anything can happen.
Like Crocodile Dundee
Yeah.
with dwarves.
Yeah.
Now, you can imagine the dwarves have a whole thing going on, because what's nice is the way they set out the relationships, especially between the male and the female dwarves, who have contempt for each other. The male dwarves think the female dwarves are ugly as sin, and it's returned by the females. So it's very funny, because we look so peculiar in it. Yeah, you could imagine them doing that, but could the knees take it?
No.
That's the question.
Not in New York.
No, not in New York. No. No.
So no then. Does anyone have any other... Hello? Yes. Get a microphone to you in just a second. Thanks.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Olivia from Best. One of my favourite scenes in the film was when Mrs. Blenworth sets the trap for Dawes and Eric and Sarah, and just the absolute, like you said, contempt between the male and female dwarves back and forth. It really made me laugh. Did you ever break on set when you were filming those scenes? Have any laughter?
I don't know. That was a great scene to film. It was quite elaborate, the different setups with the net. I think it works really well.
I think we were pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I don't think we laughed much at all. Sometimes I'd weep. I mean, usually in the trailer before work, but
Well, when we're actually in the net, it was quite uncomfortable after a
Actually
while, wasn't it?
sandwiched onto each other.
When we're pushed in, after a while, it does get a little bit. Could you shift a little bit, please? And if somebody shifts, then it changes the whole
the
dynamic.
thought of having Hemsworth's leather-clad buttocks thrust into your face may seem on paper like a fantasy, but after 3 hours it gets tired.
Sweaty.
Did they not prepare you for that in Dwarf College?
No, they didn't. That was the day I missed.
It was a great scene to shoot because you knew in the script that it was funny, and what's nice about a scene like that is it's very contained, so lots of the variables go, so you know exactly where you are for the duration, and you know where everybody is, and comedically that's really good because you know you can go bump, if that makes sense, So I was really looking forward to doing it, and then sure enough it turned out really good.
I went to the screening last night. Everyone was laughing through that.
Oh,
scene.
great.
Like,
Fantastic.
Everyone was it. It was great.
Great.
And we've got time for one more question. Oh, see, I told you. No, I said when I ask. What's taking you so long?
Hi, Georgina from The Sun Online. Just from what Rob was saying, as you and Nick are comedians, did you find yourself going off script a lot, improvising, making each other laugh unnecessarily that was on camera? And they kept it?
Well, I think, you always have to kind of pay tribute to the effort someone's put into writing it, so you always do what's written, and, sometimes it doesn't help improvising a lot, But I think Cedric was very keen that we'd do it as written, and then we could just kind of loosen it up and have a bit of fun with it, and sometimes Rob would come to the trailer in the morning and say, hey, what about this? And we'd kind of work something out, or, so it's nice to be able to go and have a say.
You were given some leeway then, even though you
Sorry?
stuck to the script. You were given some leeway to
Yeah,
bring your
but
own
it's
things to the
very
table.
precise. It's
Yeah.
a very precise thing. If you've seen it and you see the scale of it, and there's so many component parts, whether it's the costumes, the stunts, the green screen, so you can't just whatever you want, because and it's shot from so many angles. It's all little component parts. But he would let us run on. So there'd be little scenes like the one where you wake up after Jessica has caught you. There are a couple of little lines at the end where they can basically just keep the cameras rolling. We see if we come up with anything amusing. But it's very, very structured.
A lot of the time, though, you do that for the other, for Cedric, to make Cedric laugh, or
Yeah.
to make the camera guys laugh. You just piss about a bit at the end. But also, you know that it's going to not make it. The thing about improvising in a comedy film is, it always comes at the end of a scene. So, I think the director's always keen to just get out of there and move on to the next bit. It's very indulgent,
Well, you'll have lots of good outtakes anyway.
yeah.
And you can ask a question. Go on. Yeah.
For Chris, you're very used to really physical roles. How was it to be sort of put up against Jessica Chastain, who had to learn everything again? But does it ever get easier when it comes to training?
Yeah, there's a familiarity to it, but it is a whole new set of steps each time. And I'll take my hat off to her because she had to do it in high heels and lifts and things.
She gave you a run for
which
your
she
money.
gave me, and she looked better in high heels than me. No, but it was incredible because she did all sorts of acrobatics and a lot more sort of aerial sort of movements, and was far more sort of advanced than what my character was doing. But as I said, in that costume, I sort of go, you can have it. It's all yours.
Thank you.
That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for your time and for your questions. Can we have a round of applause for our wonderful panel? For Chris, Nick, Rob, Emily and Alex.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey